Hello guys, as you might or might not know, in 1.8 the stacking of iron farms as we know it won't work anymore. That's kind of bad news, especially because I still had an iron farm planned for Panda survival, and we are looking at the plan right here at the moment. I call it the Iron Processing Unit, IPU. Um, And it's basically just a cranked up iron foundry. So in case you don't know what an iron foundry is, Tango Tech has a nice video on it. I'll link in the description. He also shows a lot of the basics, which I won't explain here, like how you stack the villages into each other. Yeah, but we will just take a look at this thing here. As I said, it won't be possible to build it in 1.8 anymore. If you build it before 1.8, you can still use it. So, but yeah, I don't really like building things which won't be possible to reproduce. So that's why I'm not building it in Panda Survival. But let's take a look at it. So it has 128 villages. I have Carbo's village marker mod installed. Also a link in the description. It helps to explain the whole thing a little bit because it shows us the villages and the iron golem spawn areas. So this thing in the center here is the iron golem spawn area. Then the dots marks the outline of the village or villages. It's we just see one dot because all the villages are exactly in the same spot. And then we have these lines going from the door to the center, or from each door of the village to the center. Now, as I said, the stacking, if you want to know about that, you can check out Tango's video, but be warned, it won't work as you see it there in 1.8 anymore. But I stacked it a little different than Tango in his original version, because I wanted to have 128 villages in there. I needed 2 layers of doors, and that changes the stacking a little bit. So you see this door has a yellow line going to the center. And also all these other doors in this row, let me fly down here. So you see these yellow lines go to these doors here of this row. And to center the village, I connected the outmost row of doors on the top row over here to the bottom row on the other side. So we saw there were yellow doors, or the yellow lines from the doors, and we see down here that's also the yellow lines, also for the other doors here. So these doors and the doors up back there together give 1 village. And yeah, for the rest of the doors it's the same, just always diagonal from the top row to the bottom row, and on the other sides here as well. And I stacked them from all 4 sides in here, so these things wouldn't be needed anymore. That was just for the stacking, but yeah, I just left it in. So that's how roughly the villagers got in here. As I said, Tank video where he explains more about it. But now I will just load up the world in 1.8, so we see that it's still working with there. Yeah, at the moment we are in 1.6.4, or not. Won't load it up in 1.8 as it is not out yet, but I will load it up in the latest snapshot, and we will see that it's still working there. And I will explain the other parts of the system as the cooling system, so to speak, where the iron golems get moved out, because it's kind of a new development to previous iron farms. And also we should speak a little bit about the system down here with the Nether Portal, which keeps the whole thing active if you are not in the overworld. But yeah, let's switch to 1.8. And here we are in the latest 1.8 snapshot, 14W08A it is. And another thing I forgot to mention is we have to build this thing in the spawn chunk so it always stays loaded, because if it gets unloaded, the villages would merge, so the whole stacked villages would become 1 village and this thing would be terribly slow. So this gold line represents the outline of the spawn chunks. But let's get to the things inside here. So in these cells over here on the sides, we got 20 villages on each side. I think to spawn a golem... no, I can't place it anymore because the villager's pressing against it. Let me just fix it. I think to spawn a golem you need 10 villagers, so it could spawn up to 8 golems at the same time in this thing. And yeah, it rarely reaches it, so we don't lose much performance by having the spawning area blocked. Also, the golems get transported out really fast with this system here. And yeah, that's what we should talk about now. So, from normal iron farms, you probably know the system where you have 2 floors of 16 by 16 where the golems spawn on and get transported to the center and drop out. The method I also used here has a few advantages. So one is there are more blocks where the golems can spawn on inside the village area. If you have 2 floors of 16 by 16, it's 512 blocks. In this thing, it's over 700 blocks inside the spawn area, so it's more likely that the golem spawns. It's not doing a huge difference, but with 128 villages, we save, I think, 2 villages or something like that. So basically, if you know my single-player series, we basically get the amount of iron more that I get from the UFOs. I got 3 UFOs. Okay, the amount I would get from 2 of the UFOs. So it is quite a lot. On this scale, it's of course not that much anymore. So another advantageous thing that has to the normal 16 by 16 floors, the golems get transported out really fast. So you see they spawn here and then like maybe 4 or 5 seconds later they drop down already. On the 16 by 16 floors it can take a little longer. So we don't reach the maximum amount of golems in this area that fast. So the way this thing works is a weird glitch, as always. So when the golem tries to spawn in the area, he checks the block below if there's a block with a solid top. So a block with a solid top could be stone, it could be, yeah, I don't know, all these other blocks here. Glass has no solid top. It could be an upside down half slab, or for example redstone blocks. So you could build this thing with upside down half slabs as well. They could also spawn on that, but I used redstone blocks because it looks better. So yeah, the golem checks is there a block with solid top below me, and then it also checks if there are any solid blocks on top. So as redstone blocks are not considered to be solid blocks, the golem can spawn inside them. It's a little weird to check only for solid blocks, but that's how it is. Same thing would go with half slabs. If we would have half slabs in here, the golems could still spawn inside them, because these are non-solid blocks. Yeah, and so just these stacked blocks here, they can spawn on each of these blocks and just ignore the blocks on top while spawning, and then get moved out from the water streams. And yeah, there we have had to use a few tricks like the trapdoors here to prevent the golems from getting stuck on the blocks here, on one layer lower of course, but imagine a golem or 2 golems spawning and they push each other a little bit against the water streams. So a golem could stand here and get stuck on these blocks, and the trapdoors prevents that, because if a golem spawns in there, he can move further to this side because the trapdoor keeps him from doing it. And yeah, then also we have holes here for the water stream, so wherever the golem spawns, it always gets moved by at least one water stream. And yeah, then they drop down and get burned down there. So another interesting change in 1.8, let me just see if we can monitor it, is that the golems now take damage from the redstone blocks. The same thing goes if you move a redstone block into the player head. It will also damage you, but it's an interesting change. So it doesn't matter here because they won't die up here. It's not enough damage for that, but yeah, they get a little pre-damage. That's kind of interesting. There we saw it. So yeah, then the golems get burned down here, and the items collect in this chest. Oh, yeah, maybe I should empty it. I actually emptied it before starting recording, but I had a failed recording in between, so that's why it's full already again. So yeah, there we go. Now it's empty. So the golems get killed here. the iron and the roses dropped into these hoppers here, and over here we got an item sorter which sorts out the roses. And let me just turn down which one is it? Friendly creatures? Yeah. So the roses get sorted out, and yeah, the redstone here is not that important, but there's a redstone clock over here with the hoppers, which is counting back and forth. And every, I think, 30 seconds, this dropper here will shoot out. Let's see if we can monitor it. Shoot out one of the roses. Ah, there we go. So the reason for that is that if you shoot an item through a portal, it will keep entities in the overworld active, even if no player is in the overworld. And I would say I'd just go to another creative world and prepare a little test to show this mechanic. And yeah, so that's it for this iron farm here. I will just provide the world download if you're interested. As I said, you can build it in 1.8. That's kind of sad, but yeah, let's go to a creative world and to another creative world and check out the Nether Portal thing. All right, so let's take a look at this yeah, test setup here. So at first we are now in the spawn chunks, so these chunks won't get unloaded. Even though when we're in the Nether, they will still stay loaded. And I got two clocks set up here. So one clock is to show that these chunks stay loaded, and that's just a normal redstone clock. And this command block just says redstone works. So the second clock here is based on entities. So you see that gets an item shot out and moved in. So if entities don't get processed, this clock will stop working, and yeah, the second clock says entities get processed. And what we will do now is we will go to the Nether, and what we will see is that after 1 minute the entity clock stops, but this clock stops will still be working. And yeah, if you let's just do it. So loading terrain. There we go. So the redstone, both clocks still work. I will shoot an arrow. It will exactly take 1 minute, the same time an arrow needs to despawn. So yeah, and the reason that iron farms break if you go to the Nether for longer than 1 minute is that the entities stop getting processed, and yeah, the villages break down. So I will just wait here for 1 minute, and we will see this arrow despawning at the same time as the entity thing stops. So we just saw it. The entity get processed thing stopped, and shortly after it, the arrow disappeared. So we know that it's 1 minute. And we see the redstone still works, so the chunk is still loaded. But iron farms or other traps which are based on entities, let's say, or other farms based on entities, let's say, for example, a chicken farm, would now stop working even though it's in spawn chunks. And there's a really simple trick to prevent that from happening, and that's just throwing an item through a portal. Now it will work for 1 minute again. And it doesn't matter from which side you throw the item through the portal. It just this 1 minute timer just gets reset when an item gets teleported to the Nether or from the Nether away. And that's what you saw in the iron farm or below the iron farm. We just shot roses every 30 seconds or so into the Nether portal, which caused the thing to stay active and yeah, to keep working. So I will just wait here again till this arrow despawns, and we will monitor the same thing again. So you really need to throw the items through every minute again, at least. And there we go, again 1 minute, and the thing stopped. And yeah, we can always just reset it by throwing an item through again. And if we now throw an item through, it also would get reset it. So Yeah, that's how you keep the iron farm active. And of course, this thing can be used for way more than iron farms. Actually, we use it for quite a while on the Silk Road server to solve our food situation. I just never got around to show it. And yeah, we just have a chicken farm somewhere which we keep loaded, and our iron farm keeps the world active. And yeah, therefore um, the chicken will keep laying eggs and will keep working. So we can turn these clocks off now. I hope you roughly understand what I'm trying to show here. Um, so I would say that covers it for today. The iron processing unit, IPU-128 core, roughly 1 GPS. um, it's a pretty cool build. Yeah, and as I said, it will be broken in 1.8 or not buildable in 1.8 anymore. But guys, don't lose hope. I asked the Oracle, and yeah, keep looking forward for new stacking mechanics for iron farms. See you next time.